And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it is Thursday as we record this. I'm set to go on vacation, but we don't miss a show. How you doing today?
We do not. I am so fired up, man. I'm really, really ready for this. I can't wait to get into our conversations. Yeah, man, all is well over here, to say the least. How about yourself?
I'm so excited. I'm doing great. Really feeling like I'm on a high right now because I completed a bunch of assignments that are really big at the end of this class, this 5-week class that's actually 4 weeks in one day, which is insane. And it was a bit of a grind, but we made it through. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Hopefully you had a good one. I'm assuming this is going to come out on Monday, like usual, but we'll see. Otherwise, have a great 4th of July if you hear this, or I hope you had a great 4th of July. Either way, happy Independence Day. Tyler, you want to tell the people what we're doing today?
I would love to, man. So when we were planning for this, it's like, okay, well, we're not going to be able to discuss, say, SmackDown, Collision, Rampage, just all the wrestling.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank is happening.
Yeah.
We're getting another premium live event. So if we're not going to be able to discuss that based on our interesting recording schedule this weekend, what can we discuss that is going to be thought-provoking, that is going to be worth a listen, or dare I say a watch on YouTube? And so we thought about the fact that we are halfway through the year. It's about to be July up in here, Brad, so more than halfway. And it would be a worthy conversation to go into some mid-year awards. To me, it feels like just the other month that you and I were not only giving out our 2022 awards, but kind of forecasting what was on the horizon in 2023. We had a fantasy draft. We, kind of shared our hopes and desires for the year. But like I said, we settled on mid-year awards. So we have about 6 different awards that we want to hand out. And I know that we are going to have some spirited conversation. I think we'll even have some different answers for these.
I'm sure. I was trying to make sure I did.
Which I'm really happy about. So yeah, man, mid-year awards, we're going to get into it. I am just so excited to chop it up with you, Brad, as always. And I think we have just a really, really fun episode in the works. So I am ready if you are.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm so excited for this.
Let's do it. So first category, I want to know, halfway into 2023, who is your rookie of the year?
Well, it depends on what you mean by rookie. So I have 2 different choices here. Technically, it's LA Knight. LA Knight main roster debut. I know he was Max Dupree, but LA Knight, I believe, was this year, right? Not last year? Or was he last year? He was at Elimination Chamber. So never mind. I guess he can't be the rookie of the year.
The episode's already off. The episode's already off to a perfect start. I was thinking about how you and I, we texted about this episode, but we never settled on or discussed a definition for rookie. So I knew this was going to happen, but this is why we deliver that organic content. Embrace the mess.
Well, here's my actual answer here, because I that was the one I was like, well, it's LA Knight. I wouldn't put him as MVP. That's a conversation or a category for later on. However,
we'll get into that.
Can't wait for that. Otherwise, it's one of the Starks, Tyler, and I don't know how to pick, Zoe or Billy. I'm going to say it's probably Zoe. Zoe making a main roster debut, showing up, changing the landscape, immediately being put in a big program, versus Billy, who is making headlines for being so young and so talented, but isn't quite getting to that same elevated level of main roster programs versus main roster appearances. However, I would take either of those Starks, Billy Starks, Zoe Starks. Either of them are great picks, I think, for Rookie of the Year.
For sure. So my definition for rookie of the year, I don't really know what I was thinking here. I definitely considered Billy Stark for sure. Uh, you mentioning Billy Starks, you mentioning Zoe Stark is also a really, really great shout because we know she debuted certainly in 2023. LA Knight could even be kind of a fringe MVP candidate, I would say. However, and let me explain this one because I don't know if I followed the rules. I am
We
going
don't have
with.
any rules.
We
So
don't have any rules. What am I saying?
I was
I am
polarizing
going.
Zoe Stark.
I am going with NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton.
Hmm.
Hear me out. I know that she was on our screens last year, but obviously with her recently capturing that gold, I feel like her profile has really risen. Last year, it was very much vignette based. And okay, her character is kind of like, I get where the character is going. It's sort of this entitled, wealthy lady. But I think now her in ring work has really surpassed just, oh, she's this vignette sort of gimmick. I think now she's proven that she has the in ring chops and she is really, in my estimation, going to be a major player in WWE's women's division for the next decade. I think she checks so many boxes for that company, and she just has that it factor to I guess I'm using a cliche never used in wrestling podcasting before. She has that it factor that I think is going to do not only serve her well for the rest of her time in NXT, but whenever it's time for us to see her on Mondays or on Friday nights, I think she's going to fit like a glove and capture gold up there too. So big Tiffany Stratton believer. She is my rookie of the year, Brad.
I'd say it's a good pick. I have no idea if it's a good pick. I don't watch NXT, so I have absolutely no idea. I didn't know we were going rookie. That feels more like future stars. If it was like
That's
in
true.
NBA hoops set from 91, 92, it would be in the series 2 pack with them wearing like the draft hat.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I guess it would be a good pick. I have no idea. I went with like who's debuting on the main roster because rookie on the main rosters.
That's true.
It's
Yep.
so difficult to narrow that down. Otherwise, you're pretty limited to either indies or just NXT. And NXT seems like the clear place to get the people out of it. So I can't really argue with that.
For sure. Well, this one has much more specific instructions. I think there's no way we can mess this one up. Let's get into
everything else is pretty clear.
Yeah. Let's get into our second category,
Okay.
event of the year.
Well, this was a difficult one for me. I'm going with AEW Revolution. So Revolution, it was 1A, 1B for me, was WrestleMania Night 1. But I'm going to go Revolution. I love Forbidden Door, but I think I liked Revolution more. Let me run down some things here. So Revolution, we had Hangman versus Mox. We had that. Was it a Texas Death Match? We had MJF and Danielson in the Iron Man match, one of the best matches in AEW history. We had the Trios Championship, the Elite versus the House of Black, which absolutely ruled. That match was so good. And then we had some matches that were better than others. But we had Jamie Hayter retaining against Saraya. Wardlow submitted Samoa Joe, which that moment can't be understated because that just never happens. Jungle Boy beat Christian Cage in a final burial match, which is one of my favorite shots when that thing dropped into the abyss at the end of that. That was so fun. Ricky beat Jericho, I think, for the second time after he tricked him into the match. And the Guns retained in that 4-way tag match, which was a ton of fun. That match was great. That show was really, really, really strong. Did it have the biggest moments? No. But I think everything from top to bottom was pretty entertaining, was pretty good. The matches were really good. The storylines were really good. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I'm picking Revolution. WrestleMania Night 1, I want to go with as well. I just it's tough because that show ended on a spectacular note. But I'm going to go Revolution because that was the first one I thought of.
Wow. I can't even be mad at those picks. Those are phenomenal. I am also going to mention Revolution at some point in this episode. However, I am stunned I am flabbergasted. I'm shocked. I'm a little hurt that you did not mention Backlash. This 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 was a layup for me, Brad. YouTube viewers, I need you to see the face that Brad is making right now. Brad, I'm going to convince you of this. I'm determined. So Backlash, this was in May. Let me get the specific date just to come with facts. I think this was May 6th. Yes, Saturday, May 6th. Very, very recent as we record. Here was the card. Let me give you the rundown. We have 2 match of the year candidates on this one. To open the show, Bianca Belair defeated Io Sky. This next one wasn't a match of the year, but we'll take it. Seth freaking Rollins defeated Omos. Austin Theory defeated Lashley and Bronson Reed. You may recall Rhea Ripley defeated Zelina Vega. Potential match of the year candidate, Bad Bunny defeated Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. The Bloodline defeated Riddle, Owens, and Sami Zayn. And then finally, this is a bit questionable for me, but Cody Rhodes did defeat Brock Lesnar. I say questionable because I believe that the true main event, the people's main event, was Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. I'm going to go back and watch this show at some point, Brad. I have to do that before we hit 2024. The crowd in Puerto Rico, the surprises that we got, Savio Vega, Carlito. Maybe we're going to see Carlito with WWE again soon. Who knows? The moment for Zelina Vega. Once again, Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. One of my favorite matches so far this year. That there was so much good on this show, and I had the most fun watching it. Any WWE product, any AEW product, to me, this one was really on a different tier. I love everything about it.
There were like 3 matches on that show that I just didn't like. I wasn't really looking forward to the Bloodline. We even talked about how kind of their Riddle was in that match, and that main event was just an absolute wet turd. I mean, it was just bad. And then you had the Seth match, which was on the card.
Gave Omos the best match of his career, dare I say.
Yes, absolutely, which is noteworthy, but not something I'm ever going to watch again. But Zelina's moment, that match was a ton of fun, Bad Bunny. But there are some other moments that I think top that, and we'll get to that later on. But yeah, the most watchable part of that show for me is Bad Bunny. And the entire match, because we got Zelina again, we got the run in from the LWO to help out when Judgment Day got involved. I agree with you. That was the main event of that show. Can't be mad at it. It's a good event. I don't even think it's in my top 5, but it had a lot of really good stuff on it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Brad, based on that answer, I think you might be hosting GI by yourself next week.
All right.
I may end up feeling alone.
I'm just going to badmouth that entire show.
Yeah,
I won't badmouth it. I'll just talk about why the other shows are better.
Listen, I'm just going to go into the Sharps transition. I was trying to get us there smoothly, but now I'm just going to read it. We want to know.
I ended my sentence with better.
Are you tired of placing bets alone and not having anyone to talk to about your predictions?
As in betting.
Do you want to connect with other sports bettors and share your winning strategies? Yes and yes. Look no further than Sharps, the social network for sports bettors. With Sharps, you can connect with friends, see what they're betting on, and even interact with their bets. The iOS app connects to all major sports books and daily fantasy platforms like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Prize Picks, and Underdog. Here's the best part. If you download Sharps now and use the promo code WIND338, that's WIND, all caps, 338, you'll receive access to the community to start showing off your betting chops and an opportunity to compare your bets with us. So, what are you waiting for? Download Sharps today, use our promo code WIND338, and start connecting with other sports bettors. Don't forget to share your winning strategies and interact with other users' bets. And that's Sharps with a Z. Very important. Join the social network for sports bettors and take your betting game to the next level.
My recent posted slip, Tyler, I did bet today. I decided, you know what, I haven't done a Sharps bet in a little while. So I put $10 down on a 3-game parlay. I picked the Aces, the Marlins, and the Astros. This is on Thursday, the 29th. Nice little win there. That's 50 walking away with $53 on a $10 bet. That was a fun one. Probably do it again next week. Now that I got that, I'll just take my winnings or spend it poolside. We'll see what happens as I get ready to go to a resort. It's going to be a good time, man.
You got options, diversifying your portfolio. We love to see it. The Aces are really running roughshod over the league. I thought Aces and Liberty were kind of the dream finals matchup this year, but it seems like it's all Aces at the moment. Brad, I am so excited about this next category. This is the inaugural Zion Williamson What Had Happened Was award. Simply meaning this is a moment or a performer where now that we're midway through the year, you are simply saying to yourself, you see, what had happened was. I want to know what you got for this one. Who's getting the award?
Well, this one was an easy one for me because I couldn't think of a single storyline that wasn't referenced on the I guess the run sheet I have in front of me here. There's an example there. It's a pretty good one. So I was like, which one of these things that happened?
There's a lot. Storylines, match finishes,
the main
title
elimination chamber making no sense.
Listen, man, we can go 20 on this. I'm
so
ready.
I had to go with the most obvious one. The one that has haunted our timelines, the one that shows up more than anything, the one that would make Vincent Price roll over in his grave if he saw it, and that is Vince McMahon's mustache. Tyler, I have no explanation for this. It didn't happen in the ring. It happened outside of it, but I don't know what the hell is going on. It is now the official picture on the WWE website. It is bonkers bananas to me that this man just showed up like he was about to fly a F-16 next to Goose and Maverick. It makes no sense.
Phenomenal. I did not expect you to go there. That's really good. I'm happy with that. So there's lots of options for me here. A few that first come to mind. QTV being a thing, not just for a week or two, but still on our TV. Although I will say, I think they're turning the corner or torning the corner, if that's the thing.
Yeah,
Johnny TV.
Yeah,
I think this could actually be good now. We can rectify this.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about.
I laughed several times during that segment.
Yeah,
because it was bad on purpose.
Yes.
And it was just perfect.
And I'm good with Johnny TV being inserted, but please get Powerhouse Hobbs as far away from this as possible.
Thank you. Yes.
Neither side benefit each other, in my opinion. I was also very tempted. This is going back to start the year, Royal Rumble season. Very tempted to go with the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
I thought about that too.
LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt, specifically the storyline you could argue is a major what happened, but the finish of the match, which we have spoken about on and off air countless times, it still pops me. Uncle Howdy just launching himself and missing LA Knight and then explosion. It's like we really watched that. That was something that happened this year.
When did we start the Where's Bray Wyatt conversation again? Anyway, continue.
I mean, as soon as this episode or next, I think. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
I hope we get a run, but I hope Bray Wyatt, the person, is doing well. That being said, here is my answer for you. My inaugural Zion Williamson sponsored What Had Happened moment has to be Wardlow's most recent TNT title reign. Brad, I'm a huge Wardlow guy, and I did not expect him to drop the belt to Luchasaurus on the opening of the debut episode of AEW Collision. Perhaps I should have seen that coming. I think there's a trend when a new show appears on TV, you typically want to start that with a bang, especially from the very first match. And I could be convinced that Christian having the belt or being in close proximity is really good for business. But I am super concerned that Wardlow is just creative wise. The booking of Wardlow ever since he beat MJF has just been baffling to me. And here we are again with him taking another big loss. And I don't know if it's a matter of him just growing the man bun back or resorting to the old gear, or both, or maybe we live in a world where he doesn't need Arn Anderson. But I miss the Wardlow that we saw in 2021, when he was just as hot as any person in wrestling. So my moment, my answer for this is the entire, not only the loss, but the entire most recent
I was
Wardlow
gonna say,
TNT title
which
run.
loss? Both losses, man. Like, why dropping it to Hobbs and giving Hobbs that great moment, only to have him have the belt for like a month?
Yeah, that was the inception of QTV from there, right?
Yes, and that's why I was like,
I don't get it.
I almost picked Hobbs for that because it was just bad.
Yeah, I would be super comfortable with that answer as well.
Also,
Hobbs' TNT title run.
bringing back the Painmaker.
Bring it back to AEW. We need you to, but we were fair. We mentioned both WWE and AEW for this. There were just there have already been so many head scratching moments this year.
Yeah. There's there have been a lot. I can't get Vince's mustache out of my head.
Nightmare fuel, as you would say. Well, let's totally change the vibe around here. We're gonna go into the match of the year so far. Brad, I know you are one who does his research, so I'm just gonna pass it to you. Which matches are you considering, and what is reaching the top of your list?
Most of them are in AEW. I'm not gonna lie. I prefer the wrestling part, or New Japan, and the ones from WWE that I really loved this year have either involved Gunther or the Bloodline, and it's really hard for me to pick because I don't think anything approached the level of storytelling in any of the Bloodline stuff. I feel like Sammy and KO winning the tag titles has to be one of the match of the year contenders. It just has to be. I think Sammy and Roman in Montreal has to be. I think Bad Bunny and Damian Priest has to be.
Let's go. I love hearing that.
Bianca and Io. I think there's a Charlotte and Rhea. I think there's a lot that can be said there. I can't was Jamie and Sheeta on TV? Was that this year or was that in December? Or I think it was this year. Might have been at the year end. I can't remember. But that if that was this year, that has to be up there. It was one of the ones I considered. But man, we just saw one. I just mentioned it earlier. It was MJF and Bryan Danielson in at Revolution. It was one of the best matches in AEW history. That match was incredible. I loved that match. I've not watched it back yet, and I've been wanting to go to that and give it another look. We just watched Forbidden Door, and Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay 2 is that match. It's up there, right? That's got to be, if that's not at the top of almost everybody's list, get out of here. But the one at top of my list is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay 1 at Wrestle Kingdom 17. I stayed up for that match. I was hyped for that match. The entrance coming in as a Final Fantasy VII villain, the music and the inspiration for One Winged Angel, the graphics, the way it was shot, the match, the psychology of the match, the way that they told a story in the ring, all of the little moments in that match made sense, and there was nothing extra. I would absolutely take the Forbidden Door match right now over the first one if Don Callis simply wasn't there, or if he didn't come back. We talked about it last week. That kind of ruined it for me. Thinking about like it as the best match, Don Callis being there twice, that it didn't need to happen. It just didn't, and it kind of soured an otherwise pretty perfect match for me, including the what is he calling it, the Storm Driver 93, the Tiger Driver 91, which I thought was phenomenal. You can only do that if you can trust, like the way to take that is to hope the guy has a strong neck. There's no safe way to do it. It's just all about neck strength and controlling your body weight. So if Kenny was willing to take it and Will was willing to do it and they did it successfully and they were both fine, I mean, great. I hope they never do it again because it's uncomfortable because you're just not sure what's going to happen. But because of the Don Callis stuff, I just gotta step away from that. Great moment for Will, but I loved that first match so much. That's my match of the year right now. At the mid-year point, who knows? We might get a third part out of these two guys, hopefully at Wembley. I know Will was very obviously into that, so we'll see if New Japan allows that to happen, or if that's probably going to be another Wrestle Kingdom moment or another Forbidden Door. But I'm hoping it's at All In. Tyler, how about you?
I mean, that would be an amazing main event for AEW's biggest show to date. I would love that. You actually mentioned the two that I have here. So obviously I expressed my love for two of the highlights of Backlash, Bianca Belair and Io Sky, and then Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. But my final two are actually from an event you're really high on, AEW Revolution. I adored House of Black getting the victory, winning the trios championships against the Elite. That match was amazing. And really what I love there, and I think what AEW's done so well, is the individual matchups within the trio format are all intriguing. You have Kenny Omega versus Buddy Murphy, Malachi Black versus either of the Young Bucks. By the way, Brody King is just there and is bigger than everyone and can work with anyone.
So good.
And like us, also lows, racists, and transphobes, as we addressed on the previous episode of GI. Yeah, love that too. So I'm super high on that match. But like you, I have to go with Bryan Danielson versus MJF in that Iron Man match. They gave us 65 minutes of action. I mean, arguably the two best workers in the world right now. I am so high on MJF. I was watching this week's Dynamite, and his ability as an actor this is right up your wheelhouse, Brad, to emote drama when he needs to be funny. I think it's also really effective. He had me in tears with Adam Cole now playing buddy with him. I think my biggest, this is an
the merch.
Yes, even the merch. What was it? It was Better Than You.
Better Than You, baby.
And it was popping. It looked good.
Better Than You, baby. Now available on shop. It
was a nice tee. I would buy that.
Yeah, I thought about it.
So this isn't an award, but perhaps it should be my biggest pop of the year. Total recency bias. But when MJF called Roderick Strong generic white guy, it just did it for me. It really did. But we've also seen him cut several dramatic promos. So again, just a moment to boast about MJF. That dude is really, really special, to say the least. This match was so special. One of the best matches in AEW history, bar none. Probably my favorite singles match in AEW history. I may need to go in the vault and look at my options, but I don't know that there's one I can think of that tops it. This match was phenomenal, and I would argue the right guy won.
I can't argue with that. It was really good. There were so many good matches. I think, to your point, that the trios match, it made me think about this. We had CMFTR and Samoa Joe being a matchup for CM Punk in that match was so good. It was so good. You had Bullet Club Gold in there, and there was some really good stuff with Jay White, but having Samoa Joe and CM Punk just line up across from each other and building that drama within the match, like the teasing the tag and then it not happening and all of those things, I thought that was perfect. I love that they do that. They're really good at doing that, and they're really good at acknowledging wrestling history within a match itself. And I think that's very, very cool. Where WWE does a really good job of telling compelling storylines. They've made me, in the last year, care more about the story in the match than the match itself, where AEW makes me care about the story of the match more than anything else, if that makes sense. So storylines continuing within the ring in WWE versus the story is the match in the ring in AEW. So I really like that. I thought that was a good pick. Like I said, it was on my list of top contenders. I definitely wanted to do that.
Well, speaking of AEW, huge day for the company as we record. Fight Forever is in stores. It's
Yes.
available. I have not played yet,
Shocking.
admittedly. As we as we are speaking right now, I'm looking at you, Brad, through my screen, but I also just adjacent am looking at a copy of Fight Forever. So I do have it, but admittedly, I have not played. So I'm gonna pass it to you. I'm gonna ask you to lead this next part before we get into our final awards. What are your first impressions of AEW Fight Forever?
My first impressions are that the game is exactly what I hoped that it would be. It's a throwback. It reminds me so much of the old school wrestling games. It gave me for people that don't remember or haven't listened that deep into a podcast. I spent a great deal of time playing WCW NWO Revenge, and boxy graphics and all, but the control scheme's not terribly different from what it is now. You still have, well, it's a little bit different, but like the button mechanics aren't a lot different. It's a fighting game. I typically don't like fighting games. I don't really like simulation games that are so complicated as well that you have to have like an engineering degree to figure out all the move combinations. I want something a little bit more intuitive. It's why I don't like the 2K games nearly as much, because there's just so many combinations. Like, I don't want to learn all that shit. I just want to play the game and have fun. I don't want to have to like study. It's a video game. Just let me play, man. So that being said, there are a few things. Learning how to springboard, uh, taking people outside. I really like that there's a training mode where you can just have the computer player be basically a prop and then beat the piss out of them. I think I was Malachi Black when I did this, but I got a champagne bottle from outside of the ring and busted it over Penta's face, and there was immediate blood in the ring. It was wild. Doing the entrances is cool. You can unlock a whole bunch of stuff based on points that you earn in the game and game monies and that kind of stuff. Really happy they put the patch out so you immediately get FTR. I already played as Dax, so that was really cool. I was like, oh man, I can't believe FTR isn't in this game, and then they were in the game. So really excited about it. I don't even know if you knew that, but
No, I didn't. I'm just picturing you, the euphoria, the joy you felt as you hit pile drivers on
yes,
whoever you were playing against.
yeah,
I can just see it. Brainbuster City. There we go.
Yeah, I played. I was Orange Cassidy for a while. I haven't done a beach break yet, but I have. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to pull it off. My guess is that I have absolutely no idea.
What's it like playing with OC? I've read or I've
Fun, man.
heard that you can do the hands in the pocket.
Yes,
And,
yeah. So the taunt
yeah,
for OC,
Yeah.
everybody has a taunt, and when you reach a certain level, you get to your special move
Nice.
or your
Your finisher.
not special. It's something else. It's like super or something. So if this were Triple H, it would be like the stop block to knock you down, bend you over, and then it would be the knee drop to the face. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course I do.
If it was
Yes.
The Rock, it would be the DDT to set up
Yep.
something, or a spine buster. Or
Triple
something.
H spine bust. Yeah. Rock has
so-
a spine buster too.
Yeah,
Yep.
so for Triple H, it's the pedigree would be the finisher, but the special would be that knee to the face. I feel like, or a Dustin Rhodes power slam, something like that. So with Orange Cassidy, it's I can't remember what it is. It's not the orange punch. Maybe it's the beach break. I don't know if I ever got around to it, but I did the taunt, and he straight up into the pockets, and they stay there until you hit, or unless you have to grapple or something. So I immediately launched myself off the ropes and shotgun drop kicked the dude. I don't remember who it was,
Oh yes.
but then I got up and did the thing. It was
Worth
awesome.
it.
It is
Worth
so
it.
much fun.
I can't wait.
I'm already seeing like these crazy little combinations of things that you can do. It's just so open and free. It's not without its bugs. There's some stuff. I know PS4 users are complaining about it crashing a lot. I'm running it on a PS5 and I have no problems. It's like lightning speed. Some of the mini games are dumb, straight up. You have to like run around the ring and put a mask on somebody. You're just like going like this and swatting it at people as they run around. It's a join the Dark Order thing. You have to make them join by putting a mask on them.
It's not a cult.
No, it's not a cult. But in fairness, I'm talking about it now, going like, oh, I kind of want to go back in there and be better at it. So maybe it's not as bad as I'm giving it credit for. The casino chips falling and running around and collecting all the chips was kind of fun and frenetic. There's a skateboarding mini game where you're on a skateboard and it's just who can do the most tricks in the time limit. So you're just firing off tricks. It took me about a good 15 seconds to realize, oh, I can pull a trick into somebody and stun them for a little bit so they can't do the trick. So learning things as I go. I did try tag team, not doing that until I figure out how to do it. That was dreadful. I did not like getting my ass handed to me like that because I'm like, I don't know how to change. I'm just fighting. I'm fighting Jungle Boy, who's the legal man right now. And Luchasaurus is just whooping my ass from behind. I don't know how to shift my focus to him. I'm just trying to punch him and I'm just swinging at the ropes.
It's kind of imperative. Yeah.
Yes. So, listen, developers, I know you're listening. I know you're watching. I want some instruction manuals. I want the old school paper copies, please. I want to be able to, I've been going through my boxes. Tyler, you can confirm this. I got my Nintendo games. I went through my Tecmo Super Bowl box. That pamphlet is easily 30 pages. It just moves and plays and stuff. That game was published in like 1992, 91. What do we, maybe 90? And it's more advanced than anything I'm getting here. All I get is controller layouts. That's not helpful. I need more than that. I don't want to just figure it out.
I'm old enough to remember the days where they would sell those huge, I don't think they were instruction manuals.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like these fat stacks of like cheat code books and player guides.
Yeah.
And, they would sell them at the store. They would sell them online. We would Google cheat codes for games. And it's just, it makes me a little sad that that's not necessarily a part of the video game experience anymore. We need those instruction manuals back 100%.
Yeah, I can't remember what those are called. They're Pro something.
But they were kind of thick books.
Yes, they were tomes.
They were like $15 or $20.
Yeah, they were no joke.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find them right now. I'm like a dog with a bone on this now. I need to find it.
Yeah. No, man, we remember. Great nostalgia.
Yeah, those books were expensive too. They were like $25, and they would have them at launch. I think they were the Prima guides, right?
That sounds right.
Prima's official strategy guide.
Mm-hmm.
They would sell them like at the counter if you were at like Walmart or GameStop or something.
Mm-hmm.
They would have the games. They would have the books next to it. So
I think I remember Borders. I have vague memories of being like a Borders bookstore, and there was a copy or two.
So you're also old enough to have gone to a Borders.
Of course I am.
Yeah, well,
I am a seasoned, distinguished podcast co-host here.
Yeah, man. I don't have anything to add there. I think the game is great. It's buggy, but they'll patch it and it'll be good. People are complaining about it looking old. It's like that was on purpose.
Right.
It's an arcade game.
Right.
It's about the gameplay, and the gameplay is fast and really fun, I think. And I don't like these games. The nice thing is that there's a lot of settings. I as rookie-fied it as I possibly could have. I got it on easy mode and all these assist features on, like all of these things. I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. I might turn on easy countering because like I don't need this in my life anymore. So we'll see. But there's a lot of ways to make it as difficult or as easy as you'd like. I just want to go in there and do cool moves and stuff. I'm not really into like doing all the stuff. I just want to go in there and perform moves that are done by like all my favorite wrestlers. I think it'll be really cool. I don't know if they do cross-platform play, Tyler. So I don't know if our PS5 and your Xbox One is going to mesh very well, but we'll find out, I guess.
Sadly, yeah, I think we got 52 wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah,
for the game, but it's nice because we have a heavy hitter like CM Punk. You were able to pull up Cody Rhodes, but then we also got newcomers like Chris Statlander, Jade Cargill. Obviously, you mentioned the skateboard, so Darby Allin's first appearance in a game, Orange Cassidy. I can't wait, Brad. The Lucha Brothers. I don't think this will be our last conversation about
Brody Lee. I haven't seen either of them in there. I might have missed it, or it's like an add-on thing. I don't really know. I have to go back and look, but I really want to play as Abaddon because that character model is awesome.
Yeah, they mentioned that on the AEW Unrestricted pod.
Yes.
They gave her a shout out.
Yeah. I listened to that pod too. Shout out to Zooks and man, all the people that put that game together, it's crazy that they built it from the ground up, even though it took a ridiculously long time to get out. I'm just glad it's here. I'm glad we have more content, and it's a game that I think I'll probably have more fun with. I just find if you could make the WWE Battleground game more in line with what 2K looks like, I'd be in. That would be my game, because WWE 2K is just too much of a simulation for me, and I just don't like the controls very much. So I'll probably go back to it and play it again at some point when I get better at Fight Forever, because I feel like that's a better entry point.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, speaking of more content, we have, by my count, 2 final awards to give out. Let's get into MVP talk. Lots of worthy contenders. Brad, who is your MVP for the first half of 2023?
It's a really tough one, man. Really, I think it comes down to 2 candidates. I don't know that it comes down to any more than that. I'd say Bianca in the running there, but her storylines all kind of sucked. So it's not her fault. Now, if you ask me in the second half of the year, the way this Bianca's going, maybe Bianca. Bianca right now is so good. So the first half of the year, Bianca was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, literally, figuratively. Rhea Ripley, incredible. Judgment Day MVP, has to be in consideration for that, right? Up until the injury, Jamie Hayter in AEW, MVP candidate. She's all over the place, having banger after banger, and injured. So good. But it's 2 of the men that stuck in my mind, and it was a total toss up between Seth Rollins and Orange Cassidy. Those are the only 2 on my list. If I have to pick one, I'm gonna pick Orange Cassidy, because I have a feeling that you're gonna pick Seth Rollins. So I'm gonna go Orange Cassidy so I can give him his flowers. I don't remember who it was that described him. It might have been Jericho. I can't remember, as Orange Cassidy being Tony Khan's Undertaker. And what was meant by that is he's the go-to guy. He's the guy that he's not the Undertaker. For people that hear that, are like, that's ridiculous. No, that's not. You're not comparing gimmicks or level of prestige or any of that stuff. It's reliability. It's, oh, I need this big thing to happen. I need somebody to go in there and have a title reign and have an incredible match and get the crowd drawn in and really build that thing up for us. It has been Orange Cassidy for the last year. He has been there every week. He has been in matches every week. He has been in programs week after week after week. He's been in Chaos. He's been doing all these different things. Trios matches with the best friends, tag teams with other people, defending the All Atlantic and then the international championships. There's so many different places that he's been, and it's all been good. I can't think of a single bad Orange Cassidy match ever, let alone this year. I can think of bad feuds or programs like that Marmalade Madness or whatever was terrible. The dumb mimosa thing. It was the bathtubs. Like, it didn't even mean anything. It's just like they were there. Great idea. Great play on words. Great play on gimmicks, but dumb. Like, it didn't serve any purpose.
It was bad. We were stoked for it, but it was just bad.
The best part about that whole thing was the debate, moderated by Eric Bischoff.
Eric B from Wyoming.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, Eric B from Wyoming. Yes,
that was good. Yeah.
I believe Conrad Thompson was also fielding questions from the audience.
Yeah. Wow, that feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah, I can't even believe that. It's such a long time ago. But Orange Cassidy has been sort of that guy. He hasn't been pushed to the top of the show like MJF, you could easily make a case for him being the MVP. But Orange Cassidy shows up everywhere, literally in all the shows. Ask him to go to do a dark match, a house show, whatever, he's there. So I'm going Orange Cassidy.
I love Orange Cassidy so much. I am also a huge fan of everyone you listed. It is really unfortunate that injuries so often play a factor in any sport, but particularly the sport of professional wrestling that we love so much. I'm specifically referencing Jamie Hayter here. She was just in the midst of, you have the figure, right? You were really at day one. She was really in the midst of such a monumental title reign, and hopefully we get her back soon. But love everybody you mentioned. I couldn't agree more about Orange Cassidy being one of the most incredible champions in AEW history. His international run, whatever Tony Khan and company thought the best case scenario for Orange Cassidy's reign would be, I think this had to have surpassed it. It's just been, you put him in the ring with anyone, and it's going to be incredible, which is so surreal given his character, especially when his character was first presented. Even I, as a loyal OC fan, when he was first presented, I didn't really know what to make of him. I thought it was different, it was funny, but for him to turn out to be the workhorse of AEW was not on my proverbial bingo card. All that exposition being laid out, you know me well. Perhaps my tweet gave it away. I am for sure going with the architect, the Monday Night Messiah. I'm going with Seth Rollins here. This is so clearly his time. Obviously, he has not dethroned Roman Reigns, but him beating AJ Styles to become the inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Champion was easily the right call. If you were to create this new title and put it on anyone, it had to be Seth. Brad, you and I talked about this. It was Seth's belt. Period. It is, and he is making it relevant. He's one of the best workers in the world. He much like Orange Cassidy, just doesn't put on bad matches. He is my MVP. I think the back half of the year is going to be even better for him than the front half, which is really saying something, because I think he's going to solidify his place as one of the all-time greats by the time we reach January 1.
Yeah, it's a great pick. Like I said, I picked Orange Cassidy because I knew you were going to go Seth Rollins here. It's impossible to argue against Seth Rollins. Although I think Orange Cassidy absolutely deserves the praise and deserves to be in that conversation. I have no problem saying that he's the MVP. Certainly the MVP in my eyes of AEW. MVP overall is probably Seth here. Seth is so good, and he's been good. He's been great for so long, and just sort of like got put in the background for some reason, and I don't understand how. And he's really blossomed into this role, into this gimmick. Oh my God, he's must see, right? Like I'm excited for Money in the Bank, and I'm probably not even going to be able to watch it live. So here we are.
Do not send Brad spoilers. I say that knowing by the time this is released, Money in the Bank will probably have
maybe we release it
maybe we release it early. I will not send you spoilers though. That I can commit to.
All right, perfect, man.
We are at the finale. Our final award, the moment of the year. Talk to us, Brad.
So there were a bunch. We already mentioned a whole bunch of them, and I already mentioned this one as well. It's why. It's because my moment of the year. We had people winning championships, people losing championships, people reappearing, debuting. Johnny TV just came back. He was Johnny Elite the last time we saw him in AEW. That's a debut. We don't really care. It's exciting. I think it's fun. I really like his in-ring work. John Morrison is incredible. So I'm really happy that he's going to be there. Some Johnny Valkyrie, I guess, is the best way to call it. He is awesome. That's not one of the moments of the year. CM Punk coming back isn't one of the moments of the year. My moment of the year is obviously in WWE. WWE is made for moments. We have Sami Zayn and KO winning. We have Bianca losing, which is crazy. We had Bad Bunny's entrance. We had Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble. We had a lot of stuff happen this year, but the one that to me is the biggest moment of the year, was my favorite moment of the year so far, was the best feel good moment of the year. Although honorable mention to Zelina Vega. Sami Zayn's entrance in Montreal at Elimination Chamber. Sami Zayn coming out. Remember, he went back ska Sami. That was the re-debut of his original theme. And people were crying. I had tears in my eyes. I was brimming ear to ear for him to finally get his flowers on a scale that big. there's nothing to me that will top that. Sami Zayn being showered with love in his home country from his home people. He had another one like 3 months later over in Saudi. Like, it's crazy. The year that this guy's had is incredible between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania and Saudi. It's he has had a great year, an incredible year. But that moment will stick with me for a long time, if not forever. The emotion on his face, the emotion of the crowd, the place that it was just so good.
Sami Zayn, also a valid contender for MVP. Just
Absolutely.
an
And Kevin
amazing,
Owens.
an amazing time to be Sami Zayn, an amazing time to be Kevin Owens. I also realized that I don't think I've mentioned Gunther either, who you could also convince me is
Yeah.
MVP. There's just
Hey, we need you to have a 5-star classic. Okay, no problem. Who's it with? Omos. You got it.
yeah, future world champion. You
Yeah.
could tell me he beats Roman Reigns somehow, and I would have no issue with that whatsoever. Man, okay, so moment of the year. You mentioned some great ones, but I am going with. I'm going to surprise you actually. Although I didn't see this live, I certainly caught up on Twitter and have watched this clip several times. I'm going with the New Japan debut
It's a good one.
of Mercedes Moné.
Money.
The song is a bop. The gear was extra fly, and admittedly, I am not super hip to the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm a relatively new fan with Wrestle Kingdom, with Forbidden Door. That's now I've really started to follow it. My understanding is historically, there hasn't been a lot of widespread success for Black talent, especially not Black women in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So for Mercedes Moné to finally appear in wrestling again, I know a Japanese crowd is different than an American crowd in terms
Sure.
of the decibel level and how they show their respect. But for her to just emerge there as a huge star, not just a WWE superstar, but a global star, and just really be larger than life. She took out Kyrie and just said, "Hey, I'm back, and this is not Sasha Banks. This is Mercedes Moné, and I'm coming for everything." Amazing. Speaking of injuries, we obviously hope she recovers well and we get her back soon. But that stands out as my favorite moment so far this year, Brad. I think that was January 4th.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's that happened at the same night or same morning for me as my match of the year. That was Wrestle Kingdom 17 was an absolutely awesome time. That belt too that Kyrie had, that the IWGP Women's Championship belt, was the only, or is the only, women's belt on the New Japan show. All the other women's titles are held in Stardom, which she's a part of. So for her to be the second ever winner of that, winning it in, I believe, in San Diego, right? She won that belt. Her debut there was pretty incredible too. We had Bailey up in the rafters cheering for her. I believe Trinity was there. Trinity debuting in Impact, also a big moment.
I wrote that down. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, there's so many good moments this year. Absolutely incredible. I'm getting chills thinking about Sami Zayn. I'm getting chills thinking about the Mercedes Moné debut. Man, that happened so quickly. It was just, the match was over. They gave her 5 minutes. They gave Kyrie 5 minutes on that show. That's the only part that I didn't like about it. Should have given her 20, but the music hit. The crowd sounded like confused. They're like, "What is this? What is this?" So I don't know if the news just doesn't travel, or if New Japan wrestling fans consume their wrestling differently. But then when it showed her face, you could hear the crowd, "Oh!" And then they were all popping off for it. It was pretty great. Great pick by you. You did surprise me there.
I appreciate you. I was looking at my notes to make sure I noted everything I wanted to, and I somehow mixed my notes for this episode with last week. So I saw a Grayson Waller effect, and I had a moment of panic. Like, did I have Grayson Waller effect as one of my memorable moments from the first half of the year? I did not, but we hope he recovers, and I'm excited to see what he can do on SmackDown.
Leg,
so,
right?
Brad, yep, to close out the episode, this is not an award, but I really want to know what you think here. To finish out, can you give us one bold prediction, something we'll see over the course of these next 6 months in professional wrestling?
No, I left it blank. The only thing I could come up with, this was really difficult. Like what haven't we said? And at this point, I don't know. There's so much wild stuff that's happening, especially in AEW, but there's some wild stuff happening in WWE. I predict because I know technically it won't be up until 2024, the bidding war of 2024. It might not be bidding for MJF. I think the Drew McIntyre stuff is going to come to a head by the end of the 6 months. I'm not sure if Drew McIntyre, my bold prediction, even though I don't actually believe that this is going to happen. I think they'll do everything in their power to keep him. Is that we'll hear that Drew Galloway is leaving the company to go elsewhere. Where? I don't know. Maybe he goes back to the island and he works in Rev Pro. Maybe he goes to New Japan, which I could see. They love their giant gaijin over there, so I could see that happening. Or maybe he goes to Impact, AEW, ROH, something like that. I have no idea. He would be immediately a championship contender in AEW or anywhere he went. But I'm going to say he leaves. I think he leaves for greener pastures to have more creative control, to be able to cut pro wrestling promos rather than WWE promos. But I don't know. We'll see. Because I have nothing else, I'm going to predict he leaves and we hear about it before his contract expires. What do you got?
Wow. I'm going to go AEW centric here. I think Winter is Coming is going to be a huge, huge night for them. I predict that will be Sting's last match. He debuted at Winter is Coming in AEW. I think
Winter is leaving.
Yep, it's going to be his last match there. I also predict on that same show, Ricky Starks will defeat MJF and will become the new AEW World Champion and the first Black AEW World Champion. Finally, though, Brad, I'm going out of order because this will happen in September. This is my last one for you. This was recently announced. Dynamite Grand Slam is returning to New York, Arthur Ashe Stadium. I am predicting. I thought about this earlier, and I've been like exercising some self-control to not text you it. Here's my idea. Here's my prediction. Dynamite Grand Slam in New York. The Guns will have a big match, and 50 Cent will perform Many Men. Yes. He will rap Many Men, and he will escort the Guns to the ring. Okay, I need to see it happen. I am slowly becoming a believer in the Guns. Again, another day one fandom you've had. You called it way back when. I need Fitty. I need Curtis Jackson to be with him. I don't know when The Expendables comes out. If it's anywhere near September, I think this could be money for all parties.
I need them to keep that theme, man. That theme is the best theme in AEW.
Even if we could get Many Men in New York with the
no, do that as a special thing.
Okay, you're good with it. Totally, but then go back to 310.
Well, I mean, Bryan Danielson, Forbidden Door. We got Final Countdown.
Big money, worth it.
That entrance was incredible. I'm with Danielson though. He in the post show press conference saying that he didn't want to go in the main event. They wanted to go after or before Kenny and Will, which would have been the right move, I think, in hindsight. So hopefully he recovers soon and it's a speedy recovery. That was a nasty break. They thought it was a small break and his whole bone is just completely separated. So it looked clean, but it looked gnarly. So best wishes to him and his recovery. But man, I think I would love to see it live. I think Many Men live being performed live would be amazing, but they got to keep that theme, the whistle in the beginning, and then the synth, the 80s. Oh, it's just so good with them standing, the camera spinning, and then the spray for the gunshots. Oh, it's so good. That entrance is great, and they're getting better every week in the ring with their character stuff. I think it's Austin tends to drop down a little early on punches, like. This week I watched him. He was already falling when the hand was being thrown. So it's like, it made me slow down. But they're like crazy green and they're really, really good already. I can't wait to see what they're able to do.
Yeah, they're super good. Well, if you want more of us in your life, you can get it. You can find us on gimmickinfringementpod.com. Check out all of our links, our articles, merchandise, anything and everything Gimmick Infringement related that you could ever want is there. You can follow Brad on Twitter at Winduster. I am at Tyler J. McDowell. And as always, we are at GIPod19. Have a safe weekend. Thank you so much for being here. and we hope you'll join us again for the next edition of Gimmick Infringement. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, our premier partners, and Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.